beside the Legion. Mom always had a little wit about her, so she called the Legion Dad's Daycare Center. She called Mom often talked about her dad's days or song. More time, Mom often talked about her dad's days or poker on her. More time, Mom often talked about her dad's days or poker on her. More time, Mom often talked about her dad's days or poker on her. More time, Mom often talked about her dad's days or poker on her. After the surgery, she said she hoped he put in a heifer belt rather than old cows. She had trouble understanding why she couldn't participate in the Boston Marathon after that surgery. She loved her family dearly. But one Sunday morning, on the way to church, when I was 4 years old, I fell out of the car on a gravel road. She was afraid I was dead, so she kept driving. Until she saw me trying to get up on the rearview mirror. Then she turned around and came back to get me. The story was that I was trying to get from the back seat to the front seat. Now, what kind of a numbskull would do that in a moving vehicle? My theory is, Marvin pushed me out. Mom said she never drank or smoked until I caught her red-handed at a horse palace dance over 50 years ago. She still denied it to this day. It was important to Mom that Mark and I received the family Bibles. I'm not sure what that significance of this was, as the boys got Bibles, the girls got jewelry and anything else they wanted. She dearly loved her grandchildren and great-grandchildren, and always appreciated hearing about or being part of their celebrations and special occasions. This year, Kate and Josh, along with the girls, got 4 baby chicks to raise as laying hens. They named the chicks Pearl, Emerald, Elsie, and Lois. Mom got a real kick out of this and was constantly asking how Lois was doing and offering advice on how to care for them to ensure they got quality eggs. She was a good nurse and a wonderful mother. When one of the lieutenants had a baby who was allergic to cow's milk, she milked the goat for them. We will always remember her love and caring, and we will miss her dearly. Bye, Mom. We love you.
Thank you. I invite you all to please stand.
So morning. I am Julie Whitmire, daughter of Marlene and Dan, and Lois's oldest granddaughter. I will be joined today by Kate Wilhelm, daughter of Ken and Debbie, and Alyssa Wells, daughter of Martin Shelley. Thank you all for being here today as we gather to celebrate the life of Grandma, who lived 95 full and meaningful years with 11 grandchildren and 19 great-grandchildren to show for it. The grandchildren gathered a few nights ago to come up with some words to describe Grandma, and we landed on sharp, incredibly smart and creative, compassionate in the way she cared for others, steady in her presence, and deeply invested in each of our lives. Carissa described her this morning as the Hallmark movie Grandma. It's hard to put into words what she meant to us, but we are going to give it a whirl today. Grandma was incredibly sharp and intelligent, and many of us felt that she belonged in our era. She was ahead of her time, and in many cases more progressive than her children. Whether it was keeping up with Oprah and Dr. Oz, embracing Facebook before some of her grandchildren, or sharing her opinions and insights, she showed us just how engaged and perceptive she was. There were moments where it felt like her generation didn't fully allow that part of her to shine, but we saw it clearly, and we admired it more than she probably knew. I'm now going to share a few personal memories. When I was in elementary school, and Grandma and Grandpa lived on Scott Street, I got into a routine to take a sick day weekly. Unbeknownst to Marlene, I would run hot water over a thermometer, quickly pop it in my mouth, and was able to sell that I had a fever. Marlene's response was consistent: I will have to drop you off with Grandma. What Marlene didn't know was this was strategic. A sick day with Grandma entailed freshly baked homemade cookies, an episode of The Young and the Restless, and endless other soap operas and talk shows. Way better than school. It got to be such a habit that some of my friends would then pop over after school for cookies. I could tell Grandma knew I was not actually sick, but she never said anything. I think she enjoyed those days as much as I did. One of my last memories of Grandma involved her love for new clothes. At Christmas this year, when I was visiting her, she told me she had no clothes and her daughters were not addressing this problem. Although I looked in her closet, it was jam-packed, and when I told Marlene and Nancy, they rolled their eyes. But for her 95th birthday in February, I brought her a new top from Eileen's, and her face lit up with excitement when I dropped it off, and she said, "Finally." And the next time I came to visit, she was wearing that top, so that one's gonna stick. I would now like to invite Kate to share some memories.
In addition to her sharp intelligence, Grandma always had a wonderfully creative spirit. She loved crafts and finding ways to stay busy with her hands and her mind. One Christmas, she handmade us all dolls with beautifully painted on faces, real-looking curly hair, and dresses made out of pillowcases. It didn't look anything like pillowcases. Grandma's roots as a farm girl were also apparent in the way she loved explaining some of the intricate details of growing and harvesting when given the opportunity. She had quite the green thumb. Her home was often lined with plants, and the veranda always had flowers and tomatoes growing in the sunshine. There was always so much warmth and love wherever Grandma and Papa called home. The comfort we all felt was immediately present the moment we stepped into their space. Some of our favorite memories of our grandparents were our visits to the condo in Walkerton. It was an excellent playground and place for us to explore. Grandma always made sure to stock up on our favorite foods, ensured plenty of toys and games were available, and even allowed us free reign in the spare bedroom where many goodies were stored. At times we were curious about her daily journaling, tucked away in that basket in the spare room that we would sneak a peek at. I don't know what sensational information we thought we would find there, but Grandma's love for detail shined through with her notes about the particulars of the day. We enjoyed many memorable gatherings at the condo in the common room on the second floor. It often felt like it was Grandma and Papa's own living room, with the amount of time they'd spend there gathering with friends and family. Grandma would never miss playing cards or enjoying tea time with her fellow residents, as we'd see her flowery posters in the elevator on her visits, inviting everyone who lived in the condo to join for the weekly and monthly gatherings. We'd also see proof of some pretty interesting dress-up parties that took place inside those four walls with their friends. We were a little shocked how open Grandma was in handing us the photo albums that included pictures of Papa at one of these gatherings, dressed up in women's lingerie.
Above all, Grandma was deeply caring and invested in our lives. She loved her family fiercely, from her joy in babies, especially her newest great-granddaughter, Sophie, to the pride she showed in every one of us and our significant others. She made everyone feel included and valued. She paid attention, she remembered the details, and she showed up for us in a steady, meaningful way. Even her humor and the little expressions she used, like the stern "Gordon" when he dropped his drawers in front of his grandkids, or "Put the wings out, we're flying" when Gord put the pedal to the metal. She always had the last word. I think we've all had meaningful chats with Grandma about life, any struggles we were having, or any advice on raising children. She was always there to listen and to talk. As we all know, she loved to talk. Grandma made sure she spent quality time with each grandchild, as she and Papa would take each of us with our cousins the same age on a grade 8 grad trip. This tradition started with Chris and Matt. Chris and Matt went to Toronto to a play. Corey, Kate, Candace, and Terry went to Sudbury. Robin, Zach, and I went to the lake on the mountain. I remember being so excited to go on a trip with my cousins and grandparents. I had no idea where the lake on the mountain was or what we would be doing there. I was just excited to be going. To be honest, I still don't know what we did there, as we only spent about 15 minutes at the lake on the mountain. On the way, Grandma kept talking up this place and was so excited to get there. Zach, Robin, and I were playing cards in the back seat while Grandma pointed out the window at everything she thought we should see. "Look out the window, kids, it's the 401. After about 4 or 5 hours, we finally got to the lake on the mountain. We jumped out of the car and ran over to the lake where Lookout Point was and got our picture taken with Grandma. Within 10 minutes of arriving, if that, Big G told us it was time to go to the washroom and get back in the car, so we were on the road again. We all looked at each other confused, as we assumed the amount Grandma was talking this place up, we must have been staying there for longer than 10 minutes. I honestly don't know where we went next. All I remember is staying in a hotel together and seeing Big G's butt. The memories from these trips weren't about where we went with them, it was more about us being able to spend quality time with them. Grandma was many things to us. She was warm muffins on the counter, a soap opera on a sick day, crafts on the table, a game of euchre on a Friday night, and a ear that was always ready to listen. We were blessed to have her as our grandma and to keep her in our lives as long as we did. Our hope is to pass on the unconditional love and support she showed each and every one of us as we grow our own families and continue to keep her close in our hearts. We love you, Grandma.
Thank you so much, girls. That was wonderful. Now as we come to the end of our service this morning, we give thanks for the gift of Lois's life, a life that spanned 95 years and touched so many along the way. Today, we have remembered her through her chosen songs, through stories, through prayer, and through the memories shared by those who knew and loved her the best. We've reflected on her kindness, her strength, her faith, her devotion to family, and the countless ways she made a difference in the lives of others. And we give thanks that she was a Lois. Lois valued the many friendships she formed throughout her lifetime and cherished the connections she made along the way. In fact, years ago, she happily joined a group made up entirely of women named Lois. She told me that story herself. A connection that brought her enjoyment, friendship, and even a memorable trip together. It was another example of Lois's willingness to embrace not only people, but the joy of life. All of you here, and those who mourn her passing, are a testament to a life well lived and a love well shared. And although Lois's earthly journey has come to an end, the story of her life continues in the hearts, memories, and lives of those she leaves behind. For that, we give thanks. There's a miracle called family that dwells within the heart, and you don't know how it happens or how it even starts. But the happiness it brings you always gives a special lift, and you realize that family is God's very precious gift. We know today there is sadness in parting, and there is also comfort. Comfort in our memories we cherish, comfort in the love that remains, and comfort in the faith that assures us that death is not the end of the story. May we leave this place carrying forward the best of what Lois gave us, her love of family, her caring spirit, her values, and her example. May we honor her memory, not only in what we say today, but in how we live in the days ahead. And now with grateful hearts, we commend Lois into God's loving care. May she rest in peace, and may her memory be a blessing to all who knew and loved her. Amen. There'll be words up on the screen. You may stay seated, and it's just a farewell blessing. Join if you're able.